Have you ever felt guided away from danger by something unseen, or saved by a moment that seemed too perfect to be chance? What if these weren't coincidences, but signs that you're protected by a higher power in a world full of chaos and uncertainty? Do you long for a sign that a greater force is guiding your path, that you're not alone, but watched over by a force greater than yourself? What if ancient Stoic philosophers, famed for reason and resilience, also believed in a protective cosmic intelligence? Let's explore over powerful Stoic signs that you're under the care of a higher order. Have you ever felt a subtle, unseen force guiding you away from harm? A serendipitous event that saved you from a terrible mistake? What if these weren't mere coincidences, but signs that you are being protected by a higher power in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable? Do you yearn for the assurance that there is a benevolent force watching over you, a cosmic guardian angel steering you towards your true path? What if the ancient Stoic philosophers, known for their emphasis on reason and self-reliance, also held a belief in a protective universal intelligence? Today, we explore for signs, rooted in Stoic philosophy, that suggest you are under the watchful eye of a higher power. Welcome, seekers of wisdom and solace, to a profound exploration of a topic that has captivated humanity for millennia: the feeling of being protected by a force greater than ourselves. In our modern, often cynical world, it's easy to dismiss such notions as wishful thinking or superstition. But what if there is a rational, philosophical basis for this deeply ingrained human intuition today? We turn to the unlikely source of Stoic philosophy to illuminate this very idea. The Stoics, renowned for their emphasis on logic, virtue, and self-control, might seem like the last people to entertain the concept of a higher power. Yet, at the core of their worldview was the belief in the logos, a universal reason, a divine intelligence that permeates and governs the entire cosmos. The Stoics believe that this logos, this cosmic intelligence, is not a distant, anthropomorphic deity, but an immanent force that is present in every aspect of reality, including ourselves. It is the source of all order, all harmony, and all purpose in the universe. And because we are all part of this universal logos, we are all, in a sense, connected to it. We are all expressions of it. From this perspective, the feeling of being protected by a higher power is not about an external entity intervening in our lives. It is about aligning ourselves with the rational order of the universe. It is about living in harmony with the logos. When we do so, we begin to notice signs, not of supernatural intervention, but of the universe conspiring in our favor, of events unfolding in a way that supports our growth and well-being. So, what are these signs? How can we know if we are living in alignment with the logos and, therefore, under its protection? Today, we will explore for key signs drawn from the wellspring of Stoic wisdom that can help us recognize the subtle yet profound ways in which we are being guided and protected. Sign number 1. The gift of timely obstacles. The first sign that you are being protected by a higher power is the appearance of timely obstacles in your path. This may seem counterintuitive. How can an obstacle, something that prevents us from getting what we want, be a sign of protection? The Stoics would argue that not all obstacles are created equal. Some are indeed mere hindrances, but others are what we might call divine detours. They are challenges that rise at precisely the right moment to steer us away from a path that is not meant for us. Think of a time in your life when you were passionately pursuing a goal, a job, a relationship, a particular life path, only to be met with a series of frustrating and insurmountable obstacles. At the time, you may have felt defeated, disappointed, and even cursed. But in hindsight, can you see how that closed door was actually a form of protection? How it guided you towards a different, more fulfilling path? This brings me to our reflection from modern life, a story I call the Unflown Flight. Once, there was a young entrepreneur named Alex, a man with a brilliant idea for a new tech startup. He had poured his life savings into the venture, and he was on the verge of securing a major investment from a venture capital firm in another city. The final meeting was scheduled, and his flight was booked. The night before his flight, a freak storm hit his city. The airport was thrown into chaos, and his flight was cancelled. Alex was frantic. He tried to book another flight, but everything was grounded. He tried to arrange a video conference, but the investors were old school and insisted on an in-person meeting. He felt his dream slipping through his fingers. He was filled with a sense of rage and injustice. Why was this happening to him? Why now? He saw the cancelled flight as a cruel twist of fate, a sign that the universe was conspiring against him. Defeated and dejected, he returned home. The next morning, he woke up to the news that the venture capital firm he was supposed to meet with was at the center of a massive financial scandal. The founders had been arrested for fraud, and the company had collapsed overnight. If Alex had been on that flight, if he had secured that investment, he would have been caught in the crossfire. His startup would have been tainted by the scandal, and his reputation would have been ruined. The cancelled flight, which he had seen as a curse, was in fact a blessing in disguise. It was a timely obstacle that had protected him from a disastrous fate. It was a sign, not of a malicious universe, but of a benevolent one, a universe that was gently nudging him away from a path of ruin. This story of Alex is a powerful reminder that not all obstacles are what they seem. Sometimes, the things that we perceive as setbacks are actually divine interventions, protecting us from dangers we cannot yet see. The Stoics would urge us to cultivate a sense of gratitude for these timely obstacles, to see them not as punishments, but as proofs of our protection. Sign number 2. The wisdom of unanswered prayers. The second sign that you are being protected by a higher power is the experience of unanswered prayers, or, in more secular terms, the non-fulfillment of our most ardent desires. This, like the first sign, may seem paradoxical. How can not getting what we want be a sign of protection? The Stoics would remind us that our desires are often born of ignorance. We want things that we believe will make us happy, but we often have a very limited and flawed understanding of what true happiness is. We chase after wealth, fame, and pleasure, believing that these external things will bring us lasting contentment. But as the Stoics knew, true happiness is an inside job. It is a product of our own virtue, our own wisdom, and our own inner tranquility when our prayers for these external things go unanswered. It is often a sign that the universe, the logos, is protecting us from our own misguided desires. It is gently teaching us that what we think we want is not always what we truly need. Think of a time in your life when you desperately wanted something. A particular person's affection, a specific career promotion, a certain material possession, only to be denied it. At the time, you may have felt a sense of profound loss and disappointment, but in hindsight, can you see how that unanswered prayer was actually a form of protection? How it saved you from a relationship that would have been toxic, a job that would have been soul-crushing, or a possession that would have brought you more anxiety than joy. This is the wisdom of unanswered prayers. It is the universe's way of saying, I have something better in store for you. Something that is more in alignment with your true nature and your ultimate good. It is a call to trust in the wisdom of the logos, to surrender our own limited desires to its greater. Sign number 4. The unshakable feeling of inner peace is the fourth and final sign that you are being protected by a higher power is the most subtle, yet the most profound. The unshakable feeling of inner peace. Even in the midst of external chaos, the Stoics call this state apatheia, not in the sense of apathy or indifference, but in the sense of being free from the grip of disturbing passions. It is a state of tranquility, of equanimity, of a deep and abiding sense of well-being that is not dependent on external circumstances. When you cultivate this state of inner peace, you are essentially creating a fortress within your own soul, a citadel that cannot be breached by the storms of life. You are no longer at the mercy of your own emotions, no longer tossed about by the waves of fortune and misfortune. This inner peace is the ultimate sign of protection, because it comes from within. It is not something that can be given to you or taken away from you by any external force. It is a direct result of living in accordance with the logos, of aligning your own will with the will of the universe. When you have this inner peace, you know that you are safe. You know that you are protected, not because you are immune to hardship or suffering, but because you have found the source of strength and resilience within yourself that is greater than any external challenge. You are like a deep and tranquil ocean, whose surface may be stirred by the winds of change, but whose depths remain calm and undisturbed. You have found your anchor in the storm, your refuge in the chaos. You have found your home in the heart of the logos. So, there you have it for signs, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, that you are being protected by a higher power, the gift of timely obstacles, the wisdom of unanswered prayers, the serendipity of synchronicity, and the unshakable feeling of inner peace. These are not signs of a whimsical, interventionist deity. They are signs of a rational, benevolent, and intelligent universe, a universe that is constantly guiding us, supporting us, and protecting us, even when we are not aware of it. By learning to recognize these signs, we can cultivate a deeper sense of trust in the universe, a deeper sense of faith in our own path, and a deeper sense of gratitude for the profound and mysterious ways in which we are all being cared for. I invite you to become a student of your own life, to pay attention to the subtle signs and synchronicities that are unfolding around you every day, to see the obstacles in your path not as curses, but as blessings in disguise, to embrace the wisdom of unanswered prayers, and to cultivate that unshakable feeling of inner peace that is your birthright as a citizen of the cosmos. And as you do, I encourage you to share your own stories of protection, your own moments of serendipity and grace. Let us create a collective tapestry of hope and reassurance, a testament to the fact that we are not alone in this vast and mysterious universe, that we are all, in our own unique ways, being protected by a higher power. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and may you walk your path with courage, with trust, and with the profound and comforting knowledge that you're always and in all ways being protected.